You're listening to Crystal and Emily on Love Your Shelf, the best librarian podcast in the extensive and highly competitive field of librarian podcasts. Hello.
Hello.
We're back.
I always try to sound as surprised as I can. Like, oh my gosh, I
Like
didn't know
I'm
I'd
just
see
thrusting
you
a
here.
microphone in your face. I just grab you and pull you into a recording studio.
And I'm like, hi. I just go with it. Hello?
Just every time,
Yeah.
or however many times we've done this. And yet you're still always surprised.
Yeah.
I guess it's because we're so intermittent with our...
Yeah, that's true.
That's on us. That's on me.
Always.
Yeah.
It's all right. That's why they love us. All the people love us.
All of y'all that love us. So, yeah, I've got a lot. I have been reading like it's my job.
Oh, girl.
And it's funny. People think that a
it's
librarian's
not our job.
No.
No.
In fact, we can't read at our job.
No.
So
anytime, even when I'm picking books for story time, I feel guilty if I spend too much time reading books, even though at that moment it is my job to read a book because I need to know what I'm reading to children.
Yes, exactly.
But it's just we quite literally don't have time to read. And when I was a shelver too, oh man, I would
you just see something
something that looks cool, and I'd read the inside jacket cover, start to read the the preface or whatever. Instantly feel guilty.
And then you're halfway through it.
Yeah.
Oh no. It's time for your shift to be over.
I shelved no books. And really summer is the one that would come after me for that. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Nobody's going to allow
not your
that.
Mercedes.
No.
Anyway.
We understand the pull.
Yeah.
Well, there's kind of a maybe little theme of, I'm going to talk about certain things that I've read. Not all of them, because I think I read 30 books so far this year.
Yeah.
Which, it's only March.
Yeah, girl.
And
that's great.
I had one weekend, a long weekend, where I read 7.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think
I've lost my mind.
2, so.
That's normal.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the pace most people set.
Okay,
I don't know why I think, I don't know.
Mine have been long ones too, like the Cormorant Strike. I've been reading / listening to the Cormorant Strike books. And well, it's all, because when you're listening to it, you have 2 weeks at a time. And so I'm like, I'll take that as a challenge. As a challenge here.
My thing is that I'm just I want to listen to it in the car or while I'm doing something else. I don't know about you, but I can't just sit and listen to an audiobook.
Well, that's what was so funny about Nothing to See Here. Mm-hmm. There was a point at the end of that book when I came inside. I'd been listening to it in my car and got home from work and just kept listening to it and laid on my bed. And I was like, I'm just listening to this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there are some.
Yeah.
But lately, I've been showing my age, and I was trying to finish one up. It was a mystery one, so I wanted to find out what happened at the end. And so I was listening to it while I was cooking dinner and doing that stuff. And then I was just done with all of that.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to finish it, and I sat down to listen to the climax of the story, and I fell asleep. Yeah. So I gotta keep moving.
Chin to your chest,
just
mouth open.
I'm more of a chin
head
to
back.
the head back, lolling to the side.
Yeah,
and I wonder why I get a crick in my neck.
Yeah, Oh, why am I so sore? Yeah.
So I gotta be very careful now what I'm doing, but I have to be doing something.
Yeah.
Now reading is maybe reading the books is not so much of a problem for that, but anyway.
Because you're keeping, I don't know, was it your hands busy? Is that what it is?
It may be, or just, moving around. And
you need what are the things the kids were playing with a few years ago?
The fidget spinner?
Yeah, you need a fidget spinner for while you're listening to your books.
We'll see if that works. I'll give it a try. I'll probably fall asleep while still spinning them.
Yeah.
Who knows? Okay, so
I'm so sorry.
No, this is the important things that people want to know about.
Yeah, it's true.
And so
I'll fall asleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started reading several different books, completely unrelated, fiction and nonfiction, and found a thread in it. It's very strange. So I'm gonna share that. So I read Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. She's obviously great. Everybody loves her. Always in the book clubs. You know, the book clubs love
a Kingsolver.
Yes. And so Demon Copperhead is like a kind of very loose retelling of David Copperfield. And it has like the narrative structure of David Copperfield. So if you're, you know, literature nerd, you're going to pick up on that and enjoy that. But if you're not, you're still going to enjoy the story.
Yes.
And it's somewhat funny, but mostly harrowing, about a young man. Yeah. About a young man who lives in Appalachia, and he becomes an orphan and then goes through all of the terrors that you can think would be associated with all of that. And I won't say too much about it, but it is good harrowing, as it should be. I'm going to do one-word reviews for this.
Harrowing.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not going to be able to keep up with that, but for that one word.
All of the words are just harrowing. They're all harrowing.
Exactly. Then I read a short little book that I'd been looking forward to because of the author and the subject matter is also, but I didn't realize that I was going to be reading them in this order.
Yeah.
And that was Nick Hornby's Dickens and Prince, A Particular Kind of Genius. And the whole book, it's really short, is comparisons of Dickens and Prince.
Like
and how they
Charles
have similar
and Prince.
Cool. Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I can draw lines if I really need to.
It's actually, once he gets going, you don't have, it's not a stretch.
Yeah.
They had very like similar life arcs. They had very particular like ways of creating, and he really makes a very good case for the comparison. It's on a par with like the JFK Lincoln thing. I knew you were going
to say that. I was going to say, like, are you going to start a conspiracy theory that they're like,
no.
Yeah, one of them come back to life, or
that would be hilarious. Can you imagine?
Charles Dickens is like, I did the writing thing, the Christmas Carol thing. Why is that the Charles Dickens I go to? Well, Great Expectations thing. And then this time I'm going to try the
Purple
80s.
Rain.
Yeah, Purple Rain. Jump straight to Purple Rain.
You should read it. I think
cool.
everybody should. It is
cool.
a quick, like a literally, one sitting, knock it down. And then there's some other stuff in that book specifically that I'm interested in. I've talked about before is sleep disorders, since I have a couple of them.
Yeah.
And Oliver Twist has sleep paralysis, and that the description of that in that book predates any others by like 40 years. So he's writing about sleep paralysis before anybody else has discovered it.
Has said, hey,
this is a thing.
Yeah, wow.
And so, and this is literally, this is literally like the stack that I had, like physically. I'm like, put down one book, pick up the next one. It's called Night Terrors.
Wait, I have a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how harrowing was that one?
Not harrowing.
Okay, moving on.
I mean, I'm going to say 3 or 4 because they did have pretty rough lives. Like,
that's true. There's some
and early
suspense.
deaths. Yeah. So
okay, and then
Night Terrors.
Crazy,
right? Troubled Sleep and the Stories We Tell About It by Alice Vernon. So this person, and I didn't so much enjoy like the combination of somewhat of like an academic examination of this and then her own. I feel like, and I'm guilty of it too, I feel like anybody that like writes or reads or consumes anything about sleep paralysis or sleep disorders, they do put themselves in it.
Sure.
And they want to talk about their experience of it because it is harrowing.
It is. Well, and so specifically harrowing. Yeah, depending on yourself and your brain and what your dreams are.
Yeah. And guess what? Not only are we tying it to the discussion of sleep paralysis in the previous book, but she also talks about Dickens specifically, as well as Wilkie Collins and some other stories where that comes up.
I was about to say, does she bring up the Oliver Twist stuff about him sort of? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, anyway, like I said, that's lots of interesting stuff there, like representations of that, and and then she also brings up something that I know I kind of experienced, and a lot of people probably did, is the lockdown dreaming. So there was a lot of people that had, in disruptions in their sleep, and so that made them have these crazy dreams and during lockdown. So
I got real into grinding my teeth during that. It was my hobby.
I was going to say, that's just your new thing that you do. But I'm going to go home from 5 to 5:30 and grind my teeth.
I mean, it was like whenever I slept. And
that's terrible. That will give you headaches.
It was awful. Yeah. I think I missed a lot of work because of it, because I was like, what's happening to me?
Yeah. Man.
Terrible hobby.
Terrible.
Don't recommend.
No, 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
So then I read a nonfiction book by Eduardo Nessi called Sentimental Economy.
Okay.
Mentions Dickensian conditions. So it's just Dickens everywhere.
That is which is not my fave, I gotta be honest.
I've never been a Dickens fan.
I mean, Great Expectations was the next Dickens that I came up with earlier, because we had to read that for summer reading in 9th grade, and it was actual torture. Mm-hmm. We were on a car trip, and I was trying to make it better, make it go by faster by reading this, and it was the worst.
And it made time slow down.
It did. I couldn't have told. I'd read 2 pages and realize I had been thinking about what I'm gonna have for dinner that night or something. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, so after all of this, I was like, maybe I need to revisit David Copperfield. So I downloaded it so I could listen to it.
Yeah.
Haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
So I think I'm done with my Dickens episode.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
I like the coincidence angle, not the Dickens angle of all of this for you.
Yes. And then I read a book that I have been eagerly awaiting for a few months since I heard that it was coming out. None of this would have happened if Prince were alive, by Carolyn Pruso.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
And, so we see the thread.
Yes.
There, although bizarre thread.
Yeah.
And it is not the typical thing I would read. I did not know anything about it going into it, except the cover made it look light reading. Uh-huh. And the title.
Yeah.
Which
was it actually harrowing?
It was not. It was meant to be. That's the sad thing. Uh-huh. It was meant to be harrowing. It's about a hurricane.
Yeah.
It's gonna, come inland and in South Carolina.
What?
But it's about a mom who's like I don't know, my age mom, and all of this stuff happens to her while she's trying to prepare her family and her home for this hurricane that's coming.
Okay.
And all this other crazy stuff happens, and so it's kind of I don't know the word that madcap. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, okay.
It's
yeah.
It's meant to be funny, but it's also, there's sad stuff, there's tough stuff, there's relationship issues and all of these things that start bubbling up as this hurricane is coming in. But none of that would have happened if it weren't for Prince dying.
Oh no.
Not really at all.
But that's, you gotta blame someone or something.
Yeah. And that is a good reason, Things changed for me too, I feel like.
When Prince passed away. When was that? I was here.
2017.
Oh, then 16? I was not here. But yeah. Okay.
It was not that, yeah.
Maybe I was with, anyway.
That's a guess. It was somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then I read a couple of books that are super short, sci-fi by Becky Chambers. The first one is a psalm for the wild-built, and the next one is a prayer for the crown-shy. Oh. And they're great titles.
Yeah.
And I would say that they are part of a genre that I've never really heard of before, like cozy sci-fi.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that that's become a thing.
It's a thing. And so...
I can't even quite picture...
I'm going to explain.
Okay.
So...
I'm picturing, like, someone living cozily in the woods, but then they, like, step into a rocket ship or something.
It's not too far from that.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So, the series is called Monk and Robot.
Mm-hmm.
And so the monk is this non-binary person who, and this is in like an alternative future on another planet, very similar to Earth-ish.
But still a monk.
But a monk, yes.
Okay.
They have like a whole different series of deities, but they're similar.
Okay.
So it's just kind of just different.
Yeah.
And so there's a strain of monk that is like a tea serving. So I used strain on purpose. I'm so clever.
I'm in a very giggly mood. I'm sorry to you and
so
all
clearly,
of the many listeners.
I am in a ridiculous mood as well. So there's a strain of monk that travels the countryside in like this, like a wagon, but it's electric. You know, it's like a futuristic wagon that they live in, and then they visit different communities and like have tea service with individuals, and it's like a meditation therapy kind of thing.
That's neat.
Yeah. And so the people, the monk goes, like the people come up, the monk chooses the right kind of tea for them and then lets them talk about their stuff. And I
think that's really nice.
Yeah.
I would not say no to that.
No, we need that.
Yeah.
I think we need that like right now.
Yeah.
And so we'll pause this
We're
and be back.
Us. And there's just the sound of like tinkling and tinkling glasses and sipping. Anyway, and then I start talking about my problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready for this?
We won't do that. Just joking. Continue.
And then the robot comes in. So there's this. It's like if in our future, robots became sentient.
Yeah.
And then instead of rising up and killing us all, they just go out on their own, and they are no longer going to be, in the service of people.
Yeah.
And so there's all different kinds of robots, and but they do have consciousness.
Yeah.
But they're separate from the people. So by the generation that the monk lives in, he's never met a robot. Doesn't know any.
Because they're so separate.
They're very separate parts of the world. And so, but he's on his travels, or they are on their travels, excuse me.
Yes.
I don't know why. Anyway, so they're on their travels, run across a robot who has gone out on its own, because they like to be called it on its own travels to make contact with humans and see what they've been up to after all this stuff.
That's not... I mean, this is definitely a better scenario than being exterminated.
It is completely, it's completely different.
Yeah.
And instead of, like, having, holding grudges, the humans feel shame for, like, what their ancestors did about...
totally unrealistic, but anyway. Okay.
Exactly. For ever having created the robots in the first place, but the robots are like, no worries, we're fine.
We wouldn't be here if it weren't for that.
Yeah, and so it's really interesting.
I have a question. So, do humans still have, are the humans able to have things like computers?
Yeah, they still have computers and stuff.
Got it, okay. But the computers weren't like, hey, you know what,
No, they have like tablets, and then they have electronics.
Got it, okay.
But not robots. Anyway, it makes sense when you're...
I'm sorry, I'm giggling because I watched something recently where someone kept saying robots.
Oh, no.
And it was like a dad figure, and the teenager was like, they're robots, not robots. And I can't remember what it is.
Hopefully you'll remember.
I kept wanting to call them robots.
Ribbits. So I recommend it if that sounds, intriguing.
I'm very intrigued.
I think
I really am. I think that's neat.
Yeah.
A totally original
It really is. And I had read, I think it's like a long trip to to an angry planet or something like that. And also by the same author.
Yeah.
And didn't get into it as much, but I'm going to give it another shot after I've read these two.
Yeah.
And I hope that this series goes on. And again, this one is another one. These are others that are really short. And so you can just kind of consume them really quickly.
Cool.
Let's see. Then, kind of going away from my all my connections there, I read A Heart That Works by Rob Delaney. And he is, exactly. He is a comedian who I've followed for years and years when he just was like doing stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
Back years ago. Loved him then. And then he is on the show. He writes and produces and acts in the show Catastrophe, which
Fabulous
I think we've
show.
talked about.
Oh, yeah. It's a fantastic show.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was until Catastrophe, but
yeah.
Now I'll follow him to the end.
Oh, yes. And so I'm going to have to talk about it briefly because I will dissolve into tears.
I can't watch any of his videos on Instagram about it. It's okay.
I can't fathom it. So in brief, he loses a 2-year-old child to brain cancer.
Yeah.
And
they have other children.
They have other children. They have one right after that.
Yeah.
And it's all while he's writing and producing and making this show. And it's incomprehensible. But the way he writes about it, the whole time I was like, I want to put this down. I don't think I can mentally take it.
Yeah.
My dog was looking at me like she's trying to dial 911. Like... She's like, am I going to need to get somebody? Because are you going to be okay?
You're supposed to take care of me.
Yeah. I am the one that cries.
I don't have, yeah.
And, I was beside myself. But I kept reading it because it was so good.
Yeah.
He has the blackest of humor, which I really appreciate.
I do too.
But it doesn't, neither the serious parts or the funny parts or whatever, they so seamlessly come together. It's like the show.
I was about to say, I feel like they did such a great job of that on the show.
Yeah.
Like if you were to tell a joke on its own from that series, it sounds so messed up. But ended up being this really strangely beautiful. Anyway, that's his style.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was able to help produce this lovely piece of work while going through that.
And I mean, it's the most harrowing. So we're back
top
to
of the
10
Harrow
out of 10
scale.
harrowing scale. Yeah. But I recommend it. Not if you have young children.
Yeah.
Or are thinking about it or ever did or I don't know. The other people that I know that have read it and enjoyed it are either childless.
Yeah.
Or have their kids are
I need
grown.
to read it before I get to that point. Or wait until they all move away.
I think that's the only thing. I don't say that those people don't feel as much as people with kids.
But
it's just I can't imagine because he makes you imagine and
or live it as best
things.
as you possibly could. Yeah.
But it's also short. It's not like, beating you over the head and
drawing it out any longer than it
it's
oh.
So I think I'm gonna move on to watched things. We've got lots of other books, but we have lots of other time. We're gonna try to get back on our regular schedule, which we say every time.
For real though, because this is nice.
Yeah, we love it. So I watched Women Talking. Have you heard of this?
I don't think so.
It's a movie. I've been watching more
Sounds
movies
boring.
lately.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
Said some guy. I don't know.
Yeah. Said two women on a podcast.
During Women's History Month.
I didn't know. It's another one I went in totally blind. It's based on a novel. Great actresses.
What's it on?
I think it's on Prime.
Okay.
I think so.
Sorry to quiz you there.
Yeah. I'm
no,
pretty
but that's cool. Okay.
It's set in a Mennonite community.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not sure like what year it is.
Yeah.
And let's say this is equally as harrowing as A Heart That Works.
Okay.
In completely different ways and in some similar. I don't know if our listeners can hear, but there is a screaming child next door. So
cool. We're always in the library. So.
We are always in the public space.
Yeah. They're with a parent. I don't think it's.
I'm pretty sure it's under control.
We need to be responsible for.
Exactly. So, in the briefest of descriptions, the men in this community have been drugging the women at night with cattle tranquilizer.
Don't y'all know?
And
you can't be doing that these days.
And attacking them.
Yeah.
And so at the beginning of the film, the men have all gone into the city to somehow the law enforcement has gotten involved and arrested some of the men. Mm-hmm. The others went into the city to put up bail and to get them out. Got it. And it's like a day there and a day back. So the women have that amount of time to decide what they're going to do when the men come back. Doesn't that just give you the chills?
Yes.
And
I'm already like, what would I do?
So they come up with, there's 3 things that they can do. And that is leave, stay, and fight. Yeah. And so they vote, and there's a tie. I'm not going to go into anything else, but they vote, there's a tie, and then they choose a small group of women to determine what they're going to do. And
fight.
Yeah. It's very complicated.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah.
But the cast is amazing. The story is almost too much.
Yeah.
It is. I don't even want to say, but when I went and actually did look at what was behind the original novel.
Yeah.
It's based on a true story.
What? What?
In 2010.
No.
In Bolivia.
What?
Yes.
Women were being. What kind of tranquilizers?
Cow.
Okay.
Cow tranquilizers.
When I was 20 years old on this earth.
On this earth.
Happening.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, it's not nonfiction. It is but it's based on that. Yes. Those details actually did happen. So,
yeah. How many women?
The whole community.
How many men? All the men were involved.
It's implied.
Was
basically.
It an equal?
They don't know. They catch somebody running away, and that is also a detail from the true story.
Gosh, I'm gonna read about this. This is crazy.
Yeah, and so one of the women, came to and saw the face of somebody.
Children? What's the children's situation? Female children. Oh my gosh.
So anyway, yes, it is harrowing. Maybe 11 out of 10. I don't know.
Wow.
Because of the scale of it, but anyway, it was really well done. It's another one of those that if it had been any less well done, I would have just turned it off because I didn't want to experience that.
That's amazing and insane and all of it. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll move on to some humorous things now that we have topped the harrowing scale. Catherine called Birdy.
Yeah!
is on Prime.
Yes.
It is starring Bella Ramsey, who is from Game of Thrones. One of my favorite characters on Game of Thrones. And I can't remember what her name was, but she's the little girl.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
She's the little girl who's running one of the kingdoms.
Oh.
And she's real sassy.
I didn't get that far, but that's great. She's great at playing a sassy character.
Oh, yeah. And you believe that she would rip your guts out.
Absolutely.
Just 100%. But it's a little, well, I say it's a little lighter. It's on the lighter side, but it is
definitely.
There's some.
Yeah, it's set during medieval times. And things were not great for women during medieval times. So, and not great for anybody, but
women were down there,
couldn't make any decision for themselves.
Right.
And so I think that's the harrowing part, but they did such a great job of making it so funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, making all of the men in particular and this whole social system look so ridiculous.
Stupid. I mean, and she so she's this teenage girl. She's 14, entering womanhood, which means being married off. Her family's lost money, so it's up to her, to restore the family wealth. And she just does a really great job of kind of pointing out how ridiculous this whole thing is. Yeah,
and that she's not down for it. She's not happy to be there.
No. And some of the ways that she scares some of her suitors off, I was like, that's what I would do.
That's an easy way to get away. Yeah.
Just act crazy. Mm-hmm. I love when Russell Brand, as one of her suitors, shows up. Yes. And he's asking for Lady Catherine, and she's pretending to be like a servant with her friend, and they're talking about how disgusting she is and how she has a third ear on the back of her neck. And he says something like, is it working or is it spare? And they're just like, spare. Just a weird spare ear on her neck.
A working one would be weirder for sure. That would be the kicker for me. I'd be like, if it's just there.
Your hair. What is that? What'd you say? Whisper into my ear.
No.
Whisper sweet nothings into my ear, darling.
So the social analysis or whatever from that is actually kind of similar to what's happening in Women Talking, where it's like you become so in that story. None of the women can read. They're not taught to read or write or to do anything. Yeah, only the boys go to school and this kind of stuff. And so when it comes down to they're having their discussion about what to do, they have to ask a man to stay behind to and take notes.
That's what I was about to say.
Anyway, and so it just shows how utterly ridiculous this system is, but it does it in a very different way than
Catherine called Birdy. Yeah. I just
and in both, there's so many comparisons to our current system.
I mean,
there's still a lot of problems, and so especially in the Women Talking, at one point they're listing all of these things, and you're like, oh well, yeah, that's still a problem.
Still something that's on the table.
That's
today.
An issue.
Yeah. Oh.
Now we just dissolve into sighs.
Yeah, I know. That's the rest of it.
For another 10 minutes.
Yeah, Catherine called Birdy is the way I would prefer to take that medicine, so to speak.
Yeah.
But, I did even get emotional watching that, though, because I was just kind of like, it's hard being a teenage girl, man.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah, no. And
you were overnight, you become a teenage girl, and then you're supposed to go get married and have babies.
You're 14, yeah. No. At one point, I said through sniffles to Nick, they're trying to kill her spirit. He was like, oh. No. I meant every word of it.
They were trying, but they
didn't.
Do not.
It has a wonderful, lovely ending. Yeah. I loved the ending.
Yes. Yeah. So don't... And I would say I loved the ending of Women Talking as well.
Wonderful. I'm so glad. Leave it at that. I didn't know if that would be the case, but great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't a perfect ending.
No,
because of the situation.
Not perfect.
In the first place. Yeah.
It was good. And so then we'll make a little connection from Bella Ramsey to The Last of Us.
Uh-huh.
She's the star of that show along with Pedro Pascal.
Yum.
And
yes.
So he is having the best year.
Yeah.
I think I've ever seen for an actor to have. Especially, he's older than me. And this is he's been enjoying fame.
Yes. Yeah.
But The Last of Us is some kind of record breaking.
Yeah.
Everybody is watching this show. Which there have been some really good shows on HBO, Apple, whatever.
And people
nobody's seeing it. But this, I was really interested because I really liked the game.
The video game, right.
Which is, so The Last of Us is based on a video game from, I want to say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was something that I enjoyed playing with my family, and it is harrowing.
Man, it is. Well, the show.
The game and the game is harrowing.
I wish I'd been taking notes as we've watched it so that I could ask you was this
they
from
do
the game?
A lot.
Yeah,
for sure. And we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But so basically, The Last of Us starts off with Joel, played by Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Too many P's there.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that again for sure. And he has his brother, his teenage daughter, and they live in Austin, I think.
Yeah.
Or Austin, San Antonio was where it's set.
I think so, yeah.
Initially. And then
I described the sort of what's happening as zombie movie series meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
But without an alien twist.
Yeah. With a biological thing.
Yeah.
And so it's got, elements of all of that. But it's different.
Yeah.
I would say it's very surprisingly different from
it's not
zombie show.
It's not another The Walking Dead at all.
It's more bleak.
Yeah.
In some ways.
It's they do manage, at least the last several episodes, I've said I'm going to be so mad if they end this on a sad note and I'm not going to watch the rest of the show. And they do it again.
They do it.
And I still watch
here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's harrowing in a way that is, let's say, an 8 on the harrowing scale.
Yeah.
We're going to have to keep this up now, I think. Actually, we'll probably by next time we'll forget that we ever talked about this.
But, I want to talk about how the harrowing scales forever.
Yeah. So basically, Joel has a very terrible night and then jump to 20 years later.
Yes. And somehow Pedro Pascal can realistically play Pedro Pascal 20 years ago and present day Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
With, I don't know, didn't seem like a lot of...
It was not...
CGI makeup.
No. He's just... That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so, it's... The way that they're doing the episodes, I thought it was gimmicky at first. And they're... In a way that... I'll talk about another show, too, that does that. Where it's these one-offs.
Yes.
But it majorly works for that show. And it's like minor character stories that's an episode for a character.
Yeah, and it gives you they do a really good job of even if you don't see that character again, it gives a real look into just what everyday life might be like, or it contributes to the story in some kind of big way.
All of the actors that play these, quote unquote minor roles are so good.
Yes.
So perfect and so touching and just really bring you into the story. And you don't know, at any given moment, exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, which kind of this last episode,
Are you caught up on the
Yeah.
most? Okay.
Oh, wait. we didn't watch the last episode that I watched was with her and her friend from at the mall.
Yeah.
And that entire episode, I almost didn't enjoy it because I was on the edge of my seat in a bad way. Because they were really teasing at something about to happen.
Well, and you know something happened because it's a flashback.
Yeah.
And you know where she is in the future. So
yes. And so you know something is going to happen, and they stretched that out a little too much.
Yeah.
Like
I agree. I agree with that. But otherwise, just very, very good show. Yeah. Very solid.
Not perfect, but it is really good.
Yeah. And, of course, Pedro Pascal also plays the Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. I've seen the first season of that.
Yeah.
And
Nick loves it. It's one of his favorite shows ever.
It's everybody's favorite show right now, I think.
He loves it. He's waiting for all the episodes to come out and for me to, be on vacation so that he can watch that whole series by himself, or this season by himself.
My thing about Star Wars is that it's a space western.
Yeah.
It is,
and Mandalorian really
it's really a western.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But I would really like for it to do something different with it.
Yeah.
But it's just pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But I know that there are people probably out there with a pitchfork right now. Yeah. They are gathered outside the library, even though we haven't published this yet, because they just heard me from the other end.
Yeah.
But that's just one girl's opinion on
one little lady's
opinion on The Mandalorian, the biggest show ever in the history of the world.
Well, and also, I had totally forgotten, he was on Narcos. It came out 2015 or 16 or something.
Yes,
which was so good.
Yeah, my brother really encouraged me. He was like, you got to watch the show. He told me this 20 times. And I watched the first episode. I didn't get into it. And it wasn't, I wasn't picking up on it. But I have watched the first season now. I will continue it. It's good. I mean, they also subvert some expectations there, I think, as the series goes on.
Yeah.
So,
anyway.
And Pedro Pascal is very good at it. But,
can I do one last, here's why I love Pedro Pascal?
Oh, we're going to some more, but yes.
His Saturday Night Live episode was great. He was so good in it.
Yes. Yes. I think that I don't even know what's the best part. Maybe the voice that he does as
in the hospital bed,
the coma patient,
talking like that or something. It was so funny. And I heard that he said that they apparently would talk like that on the set of The Last of Us.
Yeah,
and that was it became like a big inside joke among the whole. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not gonna try to recreate it.
Yeah,
you should watch the episode. And then he was also in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nick Cage.
Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I want to.
That's yet another one, which I'm doing so much lately, where I'm just not looking to see what it is about, to see if it's serious or funny or whatever. I'm just
click and play.
Let's see what this looks like. Because clearly it was some kind of parody, because it's Nicolas Cage playing Nick Cage, and it is ridiculous, but also very funny. And there are a couple of scenes that Pedro Pascal has made into instant memes. Just unhinged, wild. You will like it.
I love it.
And it was not. I thought it was going to be more meta, adaptation or something.
Yes, yeah.
It is not that.
Just ridiculous. I love it.
It's funny.
That's fun.
But Pedro Pascal gives it this gravitas in certain parts of it, and makes you think, oh well, wait, is this what I thought? Is that and it works.
Yeah, great.
So you'll just
we'll have to watch that. Yeah.
But there is a caveat about the Pascal love. Have you seen Wonder Woman 1984?
Yes, and I loathed it. And I wanted to make sure everyone knows I said loathe, Loathe, not love.
Yes.
It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
It was one of the worst. I was That was one of those where at the end, I just, like, seethed.
Yeah.
And wished that I could have those 2 hours.
Yeah.
2.5 hours or something. It was 2 hours I will never get back.
Nick and I fully got into an argument about something dumb while watching it, and then, like, tried to kind of get back to it, and we were just like, this is so stupid. We didn't finish it. It was horrible.
In fact, it was stunning from the first movie, which was great in what it was.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I saw that in a movie theater.
So did I.
And everybody was so excited. Like, the energy in that room was amazing. It was like
we
such
saw it
girl power.
at Lincoln Center in New York City.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
I had my Wonder Woman shirt on.
Yeah. Oh, it was
and
amazing.
It was great. I walked out happy.
Mm-hmm.
This was disgusting.
Yeah.
But I just realized, is Pedro Pascal the villain?
He's the villain.
No,
he's unrecognizable almost.
That's why I like paused for a very long time when you asked me that, because I was like, no, not my Pedro.
He's terrible in it. And the character is, and I don't mean terrible like he's a villain.
No, but the acting, everyone was terrible in that movie.
It was.
I've seen all of them do better.
Yeah. If they hadn't, they wouldn't be professional actors
exactly.
at this point.
It felt like it was on purpose, and it wasn't, and that is the very sad thing about it.
Yeah. The worst.
I totally forgot about that. I never put that together.
In fact, that may have been, aside from a couple of episodes of Narcos and like seeing him here and there, that may have been, and then the Mandalorian, but of course you don't really see him. He's in a helmet the whole time.
Yeah, you hear his voice. It's not even his like real voice.
Yeah. And so, he had kind of started like going up, and I saw that movie and I thought,
I hate this guy.
This guy?
Yeah.
Why? Just nothing. It's
so bad.
So bad. So we'll leave it on that. And the harrowing scale there was harrowing for the viewer.
Yes.
In the sense that you wanted to escape from watching that movie.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just having flashes to things in that movie.
That were just terrible.
Like Chris Pine comes back, but not, he's like another guy. But she sees him as Chris Pine or something.
But it's like his grandson.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's so weird. And bad.
So weird and bad. It's just everything about it. First of all, 1984, arguably one of the worst years in general.
Let's not highlight 1984, okay?
Right?
And I feel
everything about it.
Okay, and now I have a theory that like the fourth year in any decade is probably going to be a bad year, because by that point you've fully embraced like the fashion, the everything of that decade, and so you're just like in the middle. Like when I think of 2004, I want to die thinking about things I wore and things I was into. 1994, it was like grunge at its height.
That one is where I'll take over and say, that was my year of
and I'm using fashion because it's just kind of a quick like way to
we're coming up, so we've got a 4 year coming up.
So next year, everyone be aware of the weird fashion trends.
Hopefully that's all it is.
Yeah, I know. Anyway,
well,
not to take you all down into my conspiracy theory with me. We'll
revisit that. Yeah, we'll come back. So hopefully this episode was not harrowing.
Yeah,
and
that you'll want to
look forward to the next time, and we will try to make it come by sooner.
Same time next week.
Yeah, we're putting it on the schedule. And we'll see you then.
Yeah.
We'll see each other then.
Yeah, we'll see each other.
You'll hear us.
Then.
I have to say, see you every time.
So you'll hear us then, and we'll see each other then, but we won't see you ever.
And we'll hear each other as well.
Somebody's already turned this off. They're like, anyway, bye.
They're done.
Bye.
Bye.